Hi, this is Maggie Grady with Learning Task Number 10, Critical Pedagogy Instructional Design Examples. During this COVID-19 pandemic, it has forced institutions to quickly change their traditional or face-to-face classroom courses to an online delivery format. Many faculty are not prepared to teach online. These work sessions will help guide faculty through the tools needed to successfully convert their course materials. So our goals and objectives. Faculty will learn how to use the tools needed to take their classes from a traditional delivery to an online delivery. Faculty will identify portions of their course design that need to be adjusted in order to transfer their course content to an online delivery model. And faculty will use the UB Learns to accomplish this change. Faculty will also learn best practices for online course delivery, which varies from traditional course delivery. Course materials and tools will be modified to include accessibility. So faculty will be working on their own courses during the work sessions. Faculty are provided the opportunity to convert their course content with guided practice from instructional designers. Faculty will work through the OSCAR rubric to ensure best course design practices. And faculty will be able to make their changes live to their courses. Faculty will be provided the Open SUNY OSCAR rubric. This is a 50-point check system that allows for best course design practices for an online class. The OSCAR rubric will allow for guidance, information, and influence in the faculty's course design. Along with the OSCAR rubric, instructional designers will be on hand to provide assistance and real-time feedback to faculty on best practices for course design. Faculty will work on their course design during the work session. So UB Learns as a robust learning management system. Faculty can use UB Learns tools for many things, and I'm sure that you guys already are using it, but maybe you didn't know that it can do a myriad of things. So the first thing is to deliver and manage your course content, which I'm pretty sure you're already using UB Learns for. That can be done in video format, Word, Excel, PDF, text, or HTML. Different formats allow for accessibility purposes. UB Learns allows for assessing and grading options. Things like quizzes, tests, and surveys can be built and graded within UB Learns. UB Learns also allows for communication with students. This can be done through email, discussion forums, or instant messaging. Communication with students, among students, is also a possibility. So are you ready, are your classes ready for the transition to online delivery? Are you ready to take your classes from face-to-face to an online delivery format? So this week's sessions will help you do that. In the course transition workshops, they're week-long series of classes to help you with the transition to online delivery. They're 2-hour workshops. They're offered Monday through Friday. We're going to work alongside an instructional designer to get your courses built effectively and efficiently. Monday's classes will learn the common tools within UB Learns to adapt your courses to an online format. Tuesday's class will discuss best practices for course navigation within UB Learns. Wednesday's class will be focused on UB Learns supported video software, recording software, Panopto. This can be used for asynchronous content delivery. Thursday identifies assessment techniques directly linked to the UB Learns gradebook. And Friday, best practices of using video conference software Zoom. Throughout the week, we will also be discussing taking into consideration accessibility standards and guidelines. For Monday's Common Tools with UB Learns 2-hour workshop, we will guide faculty through common features of UB Learns. Faculty will review the basics of UB Learns. They will learn how to build content taking into consideration document accessibility and becoming familiar with LAI, which is an integrated accessibility tool. Whenever you upload a document or PowerPoint, LAI kicks in and automatically gives a score, a gauge indicator that tells you if your document is accessible and how you can correct those the documents if need be. Basics of UB Learn such as content type, assessments, gradebook, and UB Learn's various tools will also be discussed. So on Tuesday's UB Learn course navigation class, this will help faculty create an easy to navigate course. So what's better than easily finding your documents and your assignments? The students ask us constantly to make sure that the faculty know to make the classes easy to navigate. How do I find everything? They don't want to be spending all of this time searching for documents and files. So making them easily found are key. We will use the Oscar rubric as a guide. Learn how to create links from the left navigation to the course content. Again, easy to find information, materials. Students will be able to quickly find what they are looking for. Ensure that the hyperlinks are meaningful and clearly labeled to follow accessibility guidelines. So if you post a very long URL, the screen reader, if a student is using a screen reader, would actually literally read the entire URL to the student. You can quickly change that hyperlink to something that makes a little bit more sense and is a little bit easier for the student to understand and navigate. We're going to learn how to customize your course and make it your own. It could be as simple as adding a header to your course design. It could be something like changing the color of the course navigation menu. In Wednesday's class, we'll be focusing on Panopto. Again, that's a video conference or video editing tool. You can edit videos and you can post videos, record videos of your course material with Panopto. So when you're taking your classes from a traditional environment to an online environment and you're used to lecturing, Panopto can do this. It can record you actually providing the lecture to your computer, which would record you, and that would kind of stand in for you giving a lecture in your class. Panopto could do this. You can edit video using the video editor. Panopto automatically captions your videos for the student accessibility. We will take a look at how to adjust those captions because sometimes Panopto doesn't get it quite right, specifically or in particular medical jargon. It doesn't necessarily caption it correctly, so you can always go back in there and edit and make sure that your intended word is exactly what you meant. We will learn how to embed a Panopto video into your course and then learn how to create a quiz in Panopto and how it links to the UB Learn's gradebook. So you can actually quiz the student instead of having them watch a 50-minute video. How do you know that they're watching the video? How do you know that they understand the material? You can actually put a quiz throughout. You can build a quiz within Panopto that can kind of help them through the material and asking guiding questions as you're moving along. In Thursday's class, we'll talk about assessments and assignments. So this one will talk, this work session will talk about the differences between assignments and assessments. We will build tests and surveys in UB Learns, learn how to incorporate the grades into the UB Learns gradebook, making it easier for you guys to grade papers. There are some options that you can set for test timing for accessibility purposes. Perhaps your student needs a little bit longer to take the test. You can actually set time limits for those students. We'll talk about that. So Friday's class will be devoted to Zoom. So Zoom is a video conferencing tool that allows you to interact with the students. You can have you can learn about breakout rooms within Zoom. So for example, if you have a large class and you need them to break out into discussions, you could actually program or schedule students to head into a breakout room and continue the conversation on the side. You can have a moderator in each one of the breakout rooms that could be guiding the conference along a little bit, the conversation along. So we will also talk about best practices for hosting a Zoom conference. For example, muting all of your students when upon entry so that not everybody is talking over each other. You could establish guidelines such as if you have a question, type into the chat window, maybe a question mark. You can enlist some of your students to modify or to monitor the chat room so that if there's any questions throughout, they can pose them to you and not interrupt the conversation or the lecture if you're providing one. We will talk about privacy settings and learn how to take precautions against Zoom bombing. So many classes that want to continue the conversation and are using a video conference tool like Zoom have been reporting that Zoom bombing has happened, which is basically unwanted people in the class that are disrupting the class. You can do things like set password protections. You can do things like sending the invitation from within the UB Learns course. Zoom is integrated into UB Learns, so is WebEx. Those are both powerful video conferencing tools. So we can talk a little bit about best practices for Zoom calls. So after the week sessions, you should have enough tools to successfully convert your courses to an online format. Perhaps you've even discovered a new technique or a strategy. Use this as a learning opportunity, and as educators, we continually want to grow and experience new growth as an educator and use this as one of those opportunities. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in class.